Hey guys, MCU Collector here with a new video, and here is the review for the new Marvel Legends Walgreens Exclusive Moon Knight. So this just started hitting stores yesterday that I know of, at least here on the West Coast. I think the day before, maybe a little before that, they started showing up in other places. I think Tennessee, places in Texas. Now they're kind of popping up everywhere, I think. I think I saw someone in, say, South Carolina. So they're out there, they're hitting. I know you guys are going to ask, well, what about the pre-orders that Walgreens.com did? Their system is shit, right? I don't think they're set up to do pre-orders at all. Like the Iron Man 2020, I ended up canceling my order because it took forever. I got it in store, got it from overseas before they even started shipping orders, and they canceled a bunch. And then with this guy, I tried pre-ordering it, and then it kept declining my card for some reason. So I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm not going to do it. I'll find it in store before the pre-orders start shipping out, and lo and behold, I did. Shout out to my boy Spawn XD. He first found it and told me about it. We made a trade for one, and then on my way home, I ended up finding a few and sent some out to some collectors. So you'll be seeing some more reviews of this guy in the next coming days. So let's get to it. Packaging looks awesome, all white. Legend Series Moon Knight down at the bottom. Side artwork looks very, very, very nice. I really like the way that looks. We get that moon crest logo up there from Moon Knight. Back of the package, we have a look at the figure. The bio reads, Moon Knight, a vision in an Egyptian temple leads Mark Spector to don a shroud and become the crime-fighting hero, Moon Knight. So, pretty cool. There we go. Let's open it up. I don't talk about this too often, but every now and then, you know, the insert kind of gets a little nice, something special in there. So, thought I'd show you guys what that insert looks like. So, pretty cool. Okay, and here is the Moon Knight figure out of the package with all of his accessories. So we get the new Gambit staff. So since Gambit came out, Hasbro actually literally said this. So since Gambit came out, they were able to use that staff for this instead of having the two baton things that come with the Daredevil figures to make one flimsy short one. So we have this. It's done in a nice pearly white color, so that is nice. It's not just like a plastic color. So I appreciate the effort that Hasbro does when they do something like that. So really good. We get two additional interchangeable hands, which are the trigger finger hands, but these are the only open holding hands that he's going to have for his staff, which is unfortunate because the fists ones are brand new hands specifically for Moon Knight, and then it's like a gloved hand with some padding, but we don't get that on these hands. He has one additional interchangeable head, as you can see with the black mask. This is the same that came in the Vulture Spider-Man Homecoming wave. And that other head that he's wearing, I believe, is the same exact thing, also just painted white. But the difference here is we actually get some of bluish gray shading. Actually, you know what? It is not the same. The head itself is the same, but the hood is different. As you can see, there's a lot more sculpted wrinkles in there. But from the front, it had looked the same. So that is different, but we do get that nice shading in there. So I like it when Hasbro does that, because everyone says they don't do that and put in the effort. So they did here on this figure, and then we have the moonarangs, as you can see here, and then the little ones that look like fingernail clippings that go onto his hands. I'm not going to pick those up because I'll probably lose them, and I don't know, I can't even get it. Oh, whatever. But let's get in close to Moon Knight. Okay, so here's a close-up look at the Moon Knight figure. If you have a chance to see multiples, you kind of want to take a look. Because the figure is all white, you might see little scratches and dings and things on the paint. So be aware of that. As you can see, there's a little black scuff mark right above that moon symbol right there on his chest. Not that big of a deal for me, but be aware that you kind of want to look out for those things. So looking at the figure, it looks really good. We get the shading on this mask as well, but we actually get it on the face portion of the mask and then on the hood kind of throughout there. I'm not sure how well it's coming on camera. I think you could see it, kind of that grayish blue shading right along there in the hood, and that goes around. We actually get it in the cape too, if you could see. It's very subtle. We get it in some of these wrinkle lines, like right here, kind of throughout there. So that looks really good. And we actually get it on the inside. I'm not sure if that's on the inside because that's how we get it, or if that's just because, you know, you're seeing through the cape, but we get that. The logo paint is applied nicely. The shading right around it looks pretty good as well. I have no complaints, but that's the only shading that you're going to get throughout the rest of the figure, and everything's just white. But the gauntlet piece here is a pearly white, pearlescent white. This belt, it's a lot more noticeable in that pearly color because it almost has that pinkish hue to it. And then these shin guards, or the boots right there, kind of have that pearly color as well. But then the rest of it is just white plastic, so not a whole lot going on. This is the Spider-Man 2099 body mold, which is my favorite body mold, so the articulation is going to be very good. Looking at his hands, again, these are the same ones that came in the Homecoming Vulture Wave. So it actually has the little cut-ins on his knuckles, so you can use those little mini moon rings, the fingernail clippings. So that is pretty cool, as you can see there. I'm trying to think if these boots were used anywhere, these armor pieces, and they're not standing out to me because the ankle pieces, I don't recognize them. If you guys remember those on a particular figure, you guys let me know, but I want to say those are new, but I could be wrong. So there he is. Now let's see his articulation. Okay, so for Moon Knight's articulation, I'm going to do it actually without the cape so you guys can get a better idea of how it looks. So you just pop the head off, and then you could just pull off the cape, and then it has that peg, so you can peg it in the back of the package. And while we're at it, why don't we switch the head on there just for the hell of it, right? So you can look down with either head, because these are, again, the same head, just different colors. He can look up decently. You get the full rotation in there, and there's not a lot of wiggle room for any kind of pivot. The shoulders go up very high, as you can see there. You get full rotation, of course, and then because we get that butterfly, so you can get some decent crossbody going with that butterfly there, and then going back quite a bit as well. You have the upper bicep swivel there. You get a double jointed elbow, which gives you that much bend, as you can see there. Wrists swivel, and they do both hinge. Let me get that belt to work down a little bit. Ab crunch, you can crunch forward that much, which is really good. You can go back that much. You have a waist swivel there. Legs go out that far apart, so that's the only thing about this figure. It'd be nice if he could do the splits a little bit more, but it's still a good amount. You can kick forward that high. Figure goes back a tiny, tiny bit. You have an upper thigh cut there. Double jointed knee, like so. And there is a boot swivel right at the top of the boot, but then it kind of has an ugly cut to it. Ankle goes all the way down. Goes up slightly, but then it hits that boot or that shin guard piece. Ankle pivot and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So really good articulation. The problem with some of that is going to be the cape. So when putting the cape back on, because it's just a large, massive rubber piece, it's gonna hurt when trying to do certain poses, because it's just gonna kind of hit the floor. So depending on what you want to do, there's things that you could do, but that is gonna get in the way, just so you are aware. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get these little moon rings into the hands. So this might be new for some of you guys that don't have that previous Moon Knight figure, as my big old fingers try and grip these little moon ring things to port it in there. And see, I dropped one. That's the only problem with these. They're just so small. So good luck that you don't drop them and lose them, because they're just so tiny. So what I'm going to do is basically put these in a Ziploc bag and never look at them again. Like, I dropped one out. So it's kind of a pain in the ass when trying... Look, see? I get one, and then while I'm putting in the other one, I lose it. So make sure you are careful. Look at that shit. Did it again. These are the real problems that we have. So I don't want you guys to see a review to where, look, he did it. It was so easy for him to do because I cut away. No, this shit's a pain in the ass. Where'd it go? See what happens? It falls down and you lose it. Well, I got two in there, so that's cool. The third one is over here where it originally was, because I never got to get that third one, so I'm an idiot. Hope you guys are liking this video. Hit that thumbs up button, by the way, if you're watching this, and at least getting somewhat of a laugh. So there it is. We have the 3 moon rings in his fist. And that looks pretty good. Good Lord, almost 2 minutes to do this shit right here. Please thumbs up this video. You got it, right? Okay, so I switched out the hands. This is going to be another little tricky thing. So the moon rings. So these hands are really made to hold the staff and not really to hold the moon. Well, I guess that one fits in there nicely, but it's funny. Okay, so the left hand is good. The right hand, not so much, because when I had put one in there, it fell out of his hand quite easy. He doesn't really grip it at any point, as you can see there. It kind of goes through very loose, whereas the left hand, he holds it nicely. So, see? There we go. Right hand, not so much. Now, what I find, I guess, a little weird, and I get why they did this, but then they should have just given us another set of hands. So the Vulture, Homecoming Vulture one has open hands with that same molded Moon Knight, you know, glove, as you can see, but it's got the open hand. So on this one, you know, he was very easily able to hold these moon rings on both hands. So we really should have gotten these hands to include it also. But then we do run the issue of that this one would not have been able to hold the staff. It would have just kind of slipped right through. So that's why we got these hands, but hell, they should have just given us a third set of hands. As you can see, he can hold this staff, and that's the reason why we got these hands. So, shit, we should have gotten those other hands. And here's why we love the butterfly joints, because he can hold the staff with both hands directly in front of him. So that is really good. Now let's see the side-by-side comparison with both Moon Knights. Okay, and here are both Moon Knights side by side. So the Walgreens exclusive next to the one in the Build a Vulture or Vulture's Web Wing, whatever it is, the Homecoming wave. So we have the two Moon Knights, very different looks for them. At the time, this was an extremely popular figure with some good things. Now it's funny that a lot of these parts have not been reused at all, and I don't know if they ever will. So it's kind of odd that they kind of done that. I think at the time everyone thought for sure Armored Daredevil would come out of this figure, and it did not, but now we get this more classic looking Moon Knight that's in the all white, so very good trade-off. They look very good together. I do like this new one more because I like that body mold more, but this one is still very unique in its own way. So what I want to do for you guys now is to pop on the white mask onto this new one to see how that looks. This one's got all kinds of creaky. It's got like that cheap hard plastic on that chest piece there. So you could do something like that. That just looks weird, doesn't it? So, let's pop, for the hell of it, let's pop this head onto this body. And something about it just doesn't really look right. It sits higher on the neck, just because of the kind of, I think, the design of the hood. I'm not really a fan, so that's why we do this one. It looks better. But let's try this head, because it's got the different style hood on this older Moon Knight. And that works well right there. It's just that we get the shading in the hood, but then we don't get that shading in the cape. So that's a little unfortunate. But Moon Knights to go all around. There we go. It seems like I keep forgetting to do these size comparisons with Stan Lee, but there is Moon Knight next to the Marvel Legends Stan Lee.